Stupid Garbage Podcast.
Oh, I like that.
Okay, and we're live.
Hello.
Okay, you're really far away from the phone, so maybe you could get a little bit closer and then... There we go, now we can have ourselves
A merry little Christmas.
a bit of a show. Whatever. Whatever the hell you want. I don't know what we're doing here, so why not?
Christmas is canceled.
Christmas is canceled here in early April. What is up? No? No lizard talk.
I wasn't going to.
You're a liar.
I was
and a bad one at that.
Mid-yawn. I was going to say I have not done anything today.
Okay, in doing nothing, in having nothing but free time,
yeah,
go ahead.
It's weird
Yep.
that I feel like I have nothing but free time, but at the same time, like, my quarantine days have been flying by. Have you found that at all, or do you feel like time is moving normally?
Well, I work from home even when the quarantine's not on.
Yeah.
So not much has changed. It's a bit of an adjustment, but it's not terrible.
Okay.
My question to you was, in finding that you had nothing but free time, did you use 10 minutes to do any show prep?
I was going to ask you if you wanted to watch a movie to review, but you were really busy all day.
Wasn't that, if you had asked me at any point, I would have said...
No, I did. I was like, do you want to go on a walk? And then
No. I asked you if you want to go on a walk.
You did.
And then you got home at like 7:15 and you said,
No,
we
I didn't.
agreed that it was too cold to go
we
on a
did
walk.
agree. But I'm saying, like,
My point is that I was not too busy to go on a walk. It was my idea.
Hey, pod racers,
Nor
Robert...
would I have been too busy to watch a movie.
Robert has started a second podcast that I'm
That's
not
true.
invited to.
This is true. You're not invited to and you're not a part of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His pent-up rage at all of our
It's not a podcast.
I was in the middle of a fucking sentence.
You're right. I was in the middle of a yawn. We all have things going on, Jess. It's a busy, busy time. So the answer seems to be no.
No prep.
You did not do any show prep. Okay.
No prep.
That's good.
I did, as you know, I had a panic attack about my lizard, so I was on all the forums and stuff. So it's been a stressful day. And I had therapy today, which I went to therapy in my onesie, and he told me that I looked like a cross between Little Red Riding Hood and the Easter Bunny.
Sure, at least
like,
grammatically, yeah.
Well, my hood was on, so I did, I was a lady in a hood, so. Yeah, I mean, that's not a topic, but it is, like,
No, it's not anything.
It's different than what some people do with
It's
their
a
free
funny
time.
remark, but it's not
Yes,
show prep.
Exactly, precisely, thank you.
It's also a funny remark that you did not make. Okay, that's a good point. That is a good point. So, jumping off of that, if I may, I do show prep.
What was your show
God
prep?
knows why. Well, I was thinking about what we could talk about, and
we should
I was
do show prep together, so I do it.
Right, that kind of was my thought a little bit. That was the direction I was going in. Give me a week, and I probably would have landed there myself. But I was thinking, what would Jess want to talk about?
Yeah.
I thought that doing show prep might be problematic for a couple reasons. One, the advantage I have in doing show prep and being able to bring it here is that you can't shoot it down. Really, you're on the spot, you have to respond, or else we don't have a show. So that's, I think, my advantage, because a lot of stuff that I would bring up, you'd go like, I don't know. Or we would talk, like, if we're looking at something that might be good show prep, this is getting a little bit meta here, dear readers, but bear with us for a minute. If we see something that's good show prep, and we have a 5-minute conversation about it, what are we going to do? Repeat the same conversation? You might say everything you have to say about it. All the interesting or funny things you have to say, you might say when we're doing the prep.
Oh.
And then when we record the podcast, you go, I don't have anything else to say about this.
I don't mean that we should do show prep together in that we're both riffing off of each other.
No, I'm just saying it might happen organically.
No, yeah, but I was more thinking like we both just sit in silence in the same room. doing the same thing.
I see. On our respective phones or computers.
Exactly.
Or whatever.
So it's
okay,
like we are both devoting this time, and neither of us are doing anything other than
That's fine.
prep.
That sounds...
Because you're right. I would go through all of my jokes.
Yeah, immediately.
Yes.
That sounds a little bit like you're asking me to schedule you to do show prep.
Precisely.
Okay. I'm gonna go with fuck you. Because you don't listen to me when I tell you when and what to do.
That's true.
When to do things, what to do, how to do them, any of it. So I'm gonna say no. You're adding agita to my life. You're giving me agita in the future. You're scheduling my agita. Okay. I don't like that.
Look, this is reasonable.
So anyway, a couple of things. One, this wasn't meant to be show prep. But it just happened, and I thought...
This whole podcast has been show prep.
Talking show prep. Hey there, show preppers.
Time check.
Getting ready for the... You're right. 10:38 p.m., dear listeners. So, April 2nd, 2020. So, yes, I listened to... You're familiar, no doubt, with the band Fleetwood Mac, named after the drummer.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard of them.
I think John Fleetwood, something Fleetwood. They, interestingly enough, they had, because before Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks came on, the duo who actually made the band really successful. I mean, you know Stevie Nicks at least.
I know Stevie. I did not know she was in Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah, that's how she...
Oh, shit. I did not know that was Stevie Nicks.
Mirrors in the sky. Yeah.
I've never heard that song.
What? Yes, you have. Landslide?
Yeah, just Landslide. I thought Mirrors in the Sky was another song.
Nope. See my reflection in the
snow-covered hills. I hate that.
That's Stevie Nicks.
That's not Stevie Nicks.
Stevie Nicks in studio here, talking all Fleetwood all the time. No, but so the album Fleetwood Mac, they had 2 albums called Fleetwood Mac. Their first album, years before Stevie Nicks and Lindsey Buckingham came on the scene.
Okay.
And Lindsey Buckingham was, because they kept, as bands do, especially in their formative years, they kept shedding members. They went through, in 3 years, they went through 3 guitarists and lead vocalists, or maybe 5 years, I don't know. And so they were looking for a male vocalist and guitarist, found Lindsey Buckingham, and he said, I'll join your band, but you have to let me bring Stevie Nicks on. And so they did, and then... Their first album with those 2 in was 8 years later, and 6 or 7 albums afterwards. The first album in 68 was Fleetwood Mac. Then they made more and more and more albums, and then they brought in Stevie Nicks and Lindsey Buckingham, and they went, "Holy shit, this is actually a band now." Re-released or made a new album and called it Fleetwood Mac. So they had 2 Fleetwood Mac albums. Then
seems like a lack of creativity for an artistic.
I think it's signaling. It's kind of like a baptism. It's signaling a rebirth, wherein we didn't know what we were doing, but this is it.
Yeah,
this is what we wanted to be when we released the first album 7 years ago, but we didn't have this.
Okay,
we just did what we could with what we had, but this is it. So then that album did quite well and made the band famous. And then, that was in 75, in 77 came Rumors. Rumors is the 8th highest selling album of all time. Rumors has sold over 40 million copies worldwide. Rumors is one of the greatest albums in the English language. Rumors has a lot. Rumors has Go Your Own Way. It has The Chain. It has all, pretty much any Fleetwood Mac song you know is probably from Rumors.
I don't know many Fleetwood Mac songs.
You know them, you just don't know that they're Fleetwood Mac.
Okay.
But, you can go your own way.
I know that. That's...
Go your own way. That's Fleetwood Mac. That's the song Go Your Own Way.
Yeah, that's the only one that I recognize.
On the album Rumors. You would recognize a lot of them. So anyway, Rumors was enormously successful and also written by the members of the band about the other members of the band while they were all breaking up with each other and divorcing each other and finding out that one of them was cheating on him with his best friend. And then also about all these tabloid rumors going on. So that it was a very tumultuous time. And Stevie Nicks and Lindsey Buckingham, the lead vocalists, and Buckingham was the guitarist, were on and off and on and off and on and off and wrote all these songs in 75. And then I watched a video, this is the lead up to all this, dear readers, of a live performance in 1982. If you just Google or YouTube Fleetwood Mac live, The Chain, 1982, you'll see this performance where it's Stevie Nicks and Lindsey Buckingham on so much goddamn cocaine, screaming at each other, because this song is about, the lyrics are, if you don't love me now, and you'll never love me again, I can still hear you saying, you will not break the chain. You don't love me now.
Oh, yeah.
That's
never
the...
love
Yep,
me again.
see? So that song was, they wrote that song about each other breaking up, and then just years later got, while touring, did so much goddamn cocaine, and we're just screaming the song at each other for like 6 minutes. It's crazy. They're just like shaking on, it's bananas. They did a good job. They hit all their notes and all that. But it was just funny to watch just these two yelling at each other. It was preposterous. So anyway, looked that up. That made me laugh and made me think that I don't know...
Is that what our podcast is? Just you and me on a lot of cocaine? Is that where the tie-in is?
I mean, kind of. Just screaming at each other. Yeah.
About to break up.
We don't have the... Well, this was like 6 years after they'd broken up. We don't have quite the creative talent of a Fleetwood Mac setup, but maybe we're getting there.
I don't even think we have the talent of the people that they kicked out of the band.
Maybe this is the original Fleetwood Mac.
You and me.
And yeah, we're finding our real stupid garbage podcast lineup.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then we both separate and then find two new amazing people, and then we're like, wow, this is what life should have been the whole time.
Something like that.
Okay.
So, well, my thought of it, I don't often, as you seem to do all the time, link things that I see to us breaking up. But my thought was if they could have done, I don't know, I mean, maybe this was the impetus and the engine behind it, but if they, while fighting with each other and screaming at each other all the time and hating each other, could still make this album, like, what could they have done if they had just kind of gotten along a little better?
Yeah.
But then you think, well, maybe all of these songs are about how much they hate each other.
Yeah.
And how they're going to break up, and Go Your Own Way is to say go your own way. It's literally what the song is called. So maybe if they had gotten along, none of this would have happened. These are the things I think about. Wastes of time. But anyway.
I was going to say, when you were saying you're prepping for our show, it can't just be prep as in, like, you monologuing for 7 minutes.
You can, first of all, that was not 7 minutes. I don't know, we've been recording for 12, but that was not 7 minutes of me monologuing. You can break in at any time.
Well, it's not a discussion. Like, you're not...
It is a discussion if you respond to anything I'm saying. I keep talking because you weren't even looking at me.
There's no opinion that could be had.
You can't form an opinion about any of the things I said the past 5 minutes?
I mean, you're probably right. Like, I don't understand what I'm supposed to have an opinion about.
Nothing. You're right. So, my other show prep that I was doing was...
that is interesting, though.
Too late.
I feel like...
It's too late.
You know what reminds me of?
It's too late. No, I don't care. My other show prep I was doing was I saw a list of drinks, and I was going to ask you if you could make a drink, and let's say any drink, and you could name it after yourself. It could be eponymous. What are you doing? Don't kick garbage while we're recording.
Sorry, I didn't know it would topple over.
The crap on the table. Well, why would you kick it?
I don't know.
It's on the table. Why would you kick it anyway?
Kick while I listen.
Why? Why would that be a need?
I need it.
Oy. So if you could make an eponymous drink, or name it whatever you want.
Eponymous just means self-named?
Yeah.
Okay.
Fleetwood Mac. If you could make a drink, name it whatever you want. I don't give a damn. What would it be? This is the show prep that I thought Jess might have something on this. Or we might be able to have... The Fleetwood Mac thing, I thought, I find this interesting. Jess isn't going to have much to say about this. Turns out I was right.
Exactly.
I didn't realize you were going to have so little to say about it that the only thing you would say about it was yelling at me that it was a bad topic. I didn't realize it would go that bad. I didn't realize you'd get defensive about how little you had to say. But I probably should have. I've known
all
you
of my insecurities
for long enough that's probably on me.
I mean, again, I feel like Taylor Swift and Adele are both like super known for having like really outstanding breakup albums. Like, I feel like that's definitely a thing. A
genre. Yeah, but they don't usually make the albums with the people they're breaking up with.
No, I understand. I mean, I couldn't do it. Like, I don't understand why they would have... Like, who wrote the song? Like, how did they even write the song? They're like, I fucking hate you. Let's get in a room together and just...
Well,
it's weird.
Buckingham and Stevie Nicks say that they would fight a lot, and the band members said as much too, that they would fight a lot and they would scream at each other, but when they were writing together, that would be when they were getting along. They were on and off, and the on
That
would
I
be
find so weird.
spurned by them doing this collaborative songwriting process that they would then be able to get along.
I feel like you and I, whenever you and I try to do something creative together like this, like this is the most that we fight ever.
Because that's for a couple reasons. One, I think you have to find someone who's on your same creative wavelength. You and I are not on any sort of similar creative wavelengths.
Yes.
First of all. Second of all,
but I'm
go ahead. My
point is, like, it's rare to find someone that's like on your creative wavelength, especially in someone that you're dating. I feel like that's not.
I don't know. I think there are plenty of examples of romantic partners who have also musical or artistic partnerships. I don't think that's that uncommon. I mean, some of them more successful and more fruitful than others.
The only one I can think of is Sonny and Cher.
Sonny. Why do you say Sonny?
I
think of Sony. They make PlayStations. That's something else.
So Sony and Cher.
Sonny. What are you doing?
They're the only ones I can think of that are a couple in the music industry.
All right, so Sony and Cher, right? No, I think there are others.
Yeah.
I mean, there's like Yoko Ono and John Lennon.
She literally broke up the band. She didn't participate. Have you heard her music?
Hers is not good, but her and John formed the Plastic Ono band. Plastic Ono band. Her name's not Oko. After the Beatles broke up, and that's when he wrote Imagine, and that's when he wrote.
No shit. Really?
Imagine's not a Beatles song; it's a John Lennon song.
Interesting, but she
broke up the Beatles.
Participate in that?
Well, I don't know. What I know of Yoko Ono is that I hate her.
Her music is
and
horrifying.
Her standalone music is not music. Also, a lot of her art, people say, I've heard said before, that Yoko Ono, because people say like, oh, she was a gold digger, she just wanted to marry a Beatle because she wouldn't, and blah blah blah. All she did was come in, go after John for his fame and his money, and broke up the Beatles and blah. And then I've heard people in defense of Yoko Ono say, no, John Lennon and Yoko Ono were contemporaries in the artistic community in different... what John Lennon was to music, Yoko Ono was to like the painting? Contemporary art. Well, she was like modern art, like postmodern art.
Oh,
like her exhibits. One of her exhibits that I remember reading about is she had like a ladder in the middle of a room, and you would go up the ladder, and on the ceiling there would be a magnifying glass hanging from the ceiling, and you would take it and you would see the art installation was teeny tiny print the word yes. That was the exhibit.
Fuck her.
So stuff like that, like postmodern 1960s into 70s art. So, but Yoko Ono, people say, I've heard said Yoko Ono was the John Lennon of the underground art community. A, not true. B, she does not have the talent of a Beatle. She doesn't have the talent of Pete Best, who got kicked out of the Beatles. And C, you can't be... If Yoko Ono was the John Lennon of the art community, that means she'd be one... John Lennon was arguably the most famous person on the planet. There's no one...
I would say, wasn't Paul more famous than John?
They were all in the Beatles.
Okay.
They were the Beatles.
Okay.
They were all the Beatles. The Beatles collectively were probably the most famous people, and John was the spokesperson. I agree that Paul McCartney is the real musical genius of the Beatles, but John was
that doesn't mean he's the most famous
frontman. Yeah, he was kind of the image of the band.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was Paul and John, and maybe John a little more so, and certainly John. After they broke up, I think Paul was a little more successful musically. A lot of people thought he was being held back by Wings, but. Then John kind of ascended into mythical status when he was assassinated. So, anyway, there are definitely... I'll look it up. Besides Buckingham and Stevie Nicks.
I feel like in the art community, a lot of people say, like, oh, my spouse or whatever is my muse.
I think they're like...
They can...
Yeah, go ahead.
They can bring their love into their art, or their loved one can inspire them to make their own art. But I feel like couples usually being in the music industry together, or like any art industry together as a couple, is just not wise.
I don't know. The Mastersons, Pat Benatar and Neil Giraldo.
And also, I would ask too, not only like just because they were in like in cahoots for a little bit, like how long was that? Because if it's like, oh, we tried it for a year and then hated it, they're going to be on this list. But I don't count that.
Well,
because it means it failed.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you're right. Maybe it's not a great endeavor, but I don't. This list says Beyonce and Jay-Z, and they're not really a duo.
No, absolutely not.
Tina and Ike Turner. I mean, I guess, but I don't know.
See what I mean? Like, it's not.
Well, they were certainly electric on stage, I guess. Yeah, I mean, Tim McGraw and Faith Hill. There you go.
Haven't they collaborated on a few songs together? Like, I don't think they're not in a band together. And it's like
Soul Tour. I don't think so. This doesn't seem to say it. This seems to say that Doubles is the first instrumental album of duets. An album of duets. No, I don't think so.
But it's an album of
maybe.
They collaborate as.
Yeah, first time they've recorded an album together. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
All right.
Look. I just finding a partner that you're on the same creative wavelength doesn't make sense to me. That they would like fight everywhere except because like working is stressful. Like you've written stuff before. Like you understand. Like it's not super easy the whole time, and you're frustrated and you're getting writer's block and whatever. Like they're
I don't know. So what would you name a drink?
Okay.
That's an interesting name. What would it be?
This is what I'm not good at.
It would just be water.
What would it be? I mean, I've literally never thought about this, so you're putting me on the spot here.
Okay. I had not thought about it at all. See, you have to do prep, or you have to roll with the punches when I do the prep.
I understand that.
You don't understand it because every single time I bring up a topic, you did this yesterday, you did it the day before. Every single time, I'm not yelling at you, I'm just saying, every single time I bring up a topic, you say, I don't know when I'm supposed to respond to this. I've never thought of this before. You've never thought of anything I brought up, which is fine, but then you have to...
I get it.
If you want to bring up topics that you've thought about, then bring up topics that you've thought about.
I get it.
Okay, you can't keep saying you get it and then keep doing the same thing over and over and over again. You don't get it. If you got it, you wouldn't keep doing it. What would you name the drink? What would it be? Anything is better than dead air.
I would make a blue Hawaiian.
Okay.
And
I think that already exists.
I would change like one teeny tiny thing about it and then pretend it was my invention in the first place. What's a drink? I mean, okay, all right. When I go to the movies or like McDonald's or whatever, like I will combine every single soda into one disgusting juice. So maybe that would be my signature thing.
Interesting.
Add a little bit of whipped cream on top, and you're good to go.
Not bad.
So, and then I would name it the Mudslide.
Again? I think that already exists.
I would name it Pina Colada. I would name it the Hurricane.
So I think this is fine show prep. The problem isn't the prep. The problem is the show.
Yeah, well...
Specifically you.
Thank you. I can have a conversation. Like, if you bring up a topic and you're like, Jess, how do you feel about mixed drinks? Like, we can just talk about it. But the putting my creativity on the spot like this is just...
So then what are you... But that's not a podcast.
It absolutely is.
Just rambling... chattering about mixed drinks for 45 minutes is not a podcast.
That's
just a conversation you'd overhear on a bus.
That's all of our podcasts.
I know,
so
but
far.
there has to be some sort of creative effort at least. What you're saying is you can't expect me to put in any creative effort.
No, I can.
That's what you basically just said that. I'm paraphrasing.
Even if I had done a good job, it would have been like literally like 1 minute of chatting.
Right, but then we can
Let's hear yours. From there.
I don't know. I didn't think about it at all. I thought Jess might like this and I moved on. Jolt Cola, which I don't think they make anymore, or maybe I think Mountain Dew made something called Vault, which was like 3, or maybe it wasn't Mountain Dew, but it was like 3 times the caffeine of Mountain Dew, and it was I think a cola similarly, and it was very short-lived. But yeah, I'd probably do Jolt or Vault, whichever one they make. I think Jolt has like coffee in it or something. A little bit of coffee, or Yeah, probably coffee, and then probably a little bit of Kahlua, and then something very, very strong.
You didn't even drink coffee.
Like, no, I wouldn't drink this. This would just be the drink I would make.
Okay.
So I would do like Jolt or Volt Cola, a little bit of Red Bull, a little bit of like espresso, like an espresso shot. And it doesn't have to be Red Bull if you don't like the like. If the taste of Red Bull does not pair well with coffee, which I assume it doesn't, then you can do like Monster, any energy drink. Doesn't matter. They make them like 50 flavors. You can even beat Gatorade. I don't give a shit. Maybe yellow Gatorade would be good to give it color. So Volt, whatever, some energy drink, espresso shot, Kahlua, and then a lot of very strong, like absinthe or something that's like 140
Jesus
proof, like 151,
Christ.
like 151, and then
You're gonna kill a bunch of people.
Drop of battery acid, and I'd call it a jump start.
Oh my god.
That's what my mixed drink would be, or I don't know. Yeah, go ahead.
I miss. Do you remember in college when I had the trash can? Is what they called it, where it's basically just like, it's a shot of so many things. Like it's I think 4 or 5 different shots of 4 or 5 different drinks, and then
what Jessica is referring to, dear readers, is she would go to bars, have like 15 shots, and then start eating out of a trash can, and her night kind of blurred together. And so at some,
or I would just drink all the drinks that were left on the table unfinished, you know.
Gross. So
no. It was a great drink, and then they made it in this humongous glass, and then they put an upside down. I think they opened a beer, or maybe it was the Monster, but I'm pretty sure it was a beer.
Red Bull. It was a Red Bull.
A Red Bull?
Yeah.
What psychopaths? They took a Red Bull, they put it upside down, and then like you know how that goes. But it
will empty.
It will, like, as you drink more, it empties out. You know how it is, and
surface tension.
I'm pretty sure, like, my friend ordered it, or, like, we ordered it as a group, and I had, like, 3 fucking sips of it, and my friend had to eat, like, or drink the bulk of it, but, like, I had a couple sips of that shit, and I was, like, unwell.
Yeah.
I mean, I was probably super fucking drunk before I even tried it,
what's the drunkest you've ever been?
In terms of, like, how I was feeling, or in terms of how many shots I had?
Feeling. Shots is irrelevant.
If
I have 10 shots and I go run a marathon, as opposed to if I have 2 beers and then I vomit, I'm more drunk if I have 2 beers and I vomit. The alcohol content's irrelevant.
That's a good question. I think, like, it's hard because, as you know, like, when you and I hang out together, like, I become a little bit less independent, like, and I'm like, oh, good, there's someone to take care of me, so, like, I can be more vulnerable. So, like, I remember one time I got really drunk and you came home from work and I was still awake, and I was like, hey, like, I'm afraid I'm gonna fall off the bed, like, I can't, like, I'm afraid I'm gonna, like, die in my sleep because I don't feel well.
Yeah.
And I think that was probably, like, the most uncomfortably drunk I'd ever been.
You often, even when you're not that drunk, you often tell me, like, when you've had 3 shots and you then come home from the bar an hour later, you often tell me, and then go to bed an hour after that, you tell me, I'm afraid I'm gonna die in my sleep. You're like, what if I throw up? I'm like, you'll be fine.
No, but that, I remember feeling, like, because I still, looking back, I remember that, and that comes to mind when I think of the worst I've ever felt.
I'm not saying that's not the worst.
No, it wasn't because I was paranoid. I'm always paranoid.
I was there.
Well,
I'm telling you, you were being paranoid. If that's the most, or that's the drunkest you've ever been, fine, I'm not disputing that point. I'm saying you thinking you were gonna die was then and is now paranoia, and I think the intensity.
But I'm telling you the way that I felt uncomfortably drunk.
I know. I'm not disagreeing with that, as I just said 10 seconds ago. What I'm saying is you thinking that being uncomfortably drunk meant you were in danger of dying was a leap that you should not have taken.
Sure.
Okay. Good talk.
I also, like, I used to get drunk and then go around, and I would, like, I get really energetic when I drink, so I would, like, take laps around the house that we were having a house party at. So I remember I would just, like, walk around, and there was one that was, like, set up like a circle, so I would just, like, walk around the house, like, hugging, like, running into my friends and hugging them. And be like, oh my god, it's so good to see you, and just hugging them. And I think I don't like to touch people, generally, and, like, I'm not very happy, generally, so, like, the fact that I was walking around the house drunk and hugging people, I was like, this is probably the drunkest I've been. And I also was drinking straight vodka out of, like, a thermos.
Yeah. I came up with another name for a drink, or another drink. Is there not a drink called, like, a cum shot or something?
Does
that exist?
I don't know.
I feel like there is.
I'm sure there is.
I think it's like some, obviously,
like
some
I've had a blowjob
creamy,
shot.
Right, something like
Yeah.
that. I think there's one called the cum shot, and I don't know what it is, but I think it's just like
it's probably
creamy liqueur or
yeah,
something.
yeah.
So I would take one of those, and if there's not, I would just name it that. At my bar, I would like
this is a cum shot.
Yeah, like 6 to 12 weeks before rolling out this drink, I would say this is the cum shot, and then a little later, I would say you get a Shirley Temple, and you can put booze in it if you want. I don't care. You probably will need to if it's, you know, the cum shot's a shot. It's not that much alcohol. The Shirley Temple with whatever, and then you add the cum shot, and then you put an egg in it, and it's called a pro-choice. And you decide if you what you want to do with the egg. That's the choice.
Oh, like drink the egg or just take the egg out.
Drink it.
Why would you not
eat it with the shell? Throw it out.
Oh, a full egg.
Yeah.
Oh my god! I thought you meant you'd like crack an egg and put it in there.
No, I wouldn't want to drink that. It'd be gross.
What? Yeah, but you wouldn't drink an egg with a shell either.
And then you can have, I guess, if you, I don't know what it would be. If you throw the egg out, then I guess we'd give you an abortion shot, which would probably, I don't know, we'd probably just give you enough alcohol to induce an abortion, would
Jesus
be my
Christ.
thought.
I don't like
And then if you keep the egg, or if you drink the egg, then you get a free
baby
pro-life. No, you get a free shot that's like a pro-life shot. I'm doing a pro-life bar here.
Okay.
So anyone who's, I don't know what the theme
So
would be.
your bar.
My bar is pro-life themed specifically. It's the only pro-life themed bar.
I'm sure
America.
the pro-life people are also the type of people that would want to take a shot called a cum shot. That definitely adds up in my brain.
Well, I'm not saying it's a perfect. I'm spitballing here.
Mm-hmm.
And what I've landed on is having a pro-life themed bar. So
Okay.
clearly I don't have all the kinks worked out.
Yeah, we're not.
Obviously, this is still in the nascent stage of being built.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for all your help. I was struggling a bit there, but you lifted us both out of that by staring at me and not saying a word for 90 seconds.
About
straight.
What do you need help
All
about?
of it. Any of it. Any of it when I was struggling to say, what would a pro-life shot be? What would and you just looked at me, leaning on the couch like you're fucking Cleopatra. Like you're Elizabeth Taylor, just, I'm bored. I'm bored. Fuck you.
I don't know what a pro-life shot would be.
Great.
I don't know. I was gonna say, and I started talking, and then you just talked over me. But I was gonna say for the abortion shot, it should just be the grenadine, just like straight grenadine.
Sure, that could be fine.
Maybe like with little clumps of like maraschino cherries.
There you go. There you go, like a afterbirth.
I was gonna say it, but you just rammed
Placenta.
right through my.
Sound like you weren't getting the word.
Of placenta and afterbirth.
Yep. It could be the that's what I'm helping
Well, it could've been the
you.
fetus.
That's what that looks like.
Don't throw things at me. You threw a spider at me.
Yeah, the pro-life. If you it's the Shirley Temple with the egg and all that, and if you drink the egg, you get a free Shirley Temple, because that Shirley Temple was a cultural icon from the 1930s and 40s, which is where your ideology belongs. Ba, 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 ba.
Got him.
Turns out it's been a pro-choice bar all along. Get fucked, fuckers. So,
Oof.
That's where we're at. Do you have anything else you want to talk about? Because you don't seem to be liking anything that I'm.
I do. I
over the
like
net at
them.
you.
I like them.
Okay.
Again, I think anything that starts a conversation is a good topic, and both of those did, and
Yeah. Do you ever see on the news usually, you ever see like someone was a burn victim, or like a woman got her face ripped off by a chimpanzee or something, and they'll show like this is what she looked. Sometimes they don't show what she looked like, but they'll just say after 16 reconstructive surgeries, her face was successfully rebuilt, and then you see her and you're like, no, it wasn't.
Yeah.
You can't just call these things a success if you're.
I mean, they're reconstructed in that they're healed.
They're different. It's not. Look. If say you build, to keep it simple, say you build a Jenga tower.
Okay.
And then I take off 4 pieces, and then you take off 2 pieces, and then I smack it over. Right?
Okay.
I can rebuild it with 2 pieces missing, or 4 pieces, or 6 pieces missing, whatever. But if I take all the pieces when they're strewn out on the ground, and then I build a log cabin with them, I can't say, look, I've successfully reconstructed the Jenga tower. I made a log cabin. I made something else entirely.
Okay.
They constructed something where that person's face used to be. They didn't reconstruct a face.
Well, they reconstructed a face. Just
No,
not their
okay,
face.
but that's... Yeah, I mean, yes, they...
What?
That's not reconstructing them. They constructed a face. They Frankensteined it and made a face.
Yep.
Like in that episode of The Twilight Zone, where the woman gets surgery. She gets surgery.
I think I actually may have seen that one. That might be
it's
the one
of
that
the
I've
most
seen.
famous ones.
And
I think it's an early one too. They're all pigs.
Yes.
So it's she has bandages on her face.
She was
and then
too pretty.
You take them off, and then she looks at herself in the mirror. And she's this gorgeous woman, and she starts screaming, saying she's hideous. And they bring her to a room where a beautiful man is, and she's screaming because he's so grotesque. And you see that all the doctors and everyone else looks like pigs.
Yeah.
Really turns the whole concept of a beauty standard on its head. Take that, fashion industry. When you describe Twilight Zone episodes like that, they don't seem that interesting or creative.
It was a good episode.
And also, when you describe it like that, you ask yourself, how did they stretch that for 23 minutes? That sounds like it would be 90 seconds. But they did a good job. It was a good show. That might have been an early...
The way that you're describing it sounds like it was one scene.
Right. But that was the episode. That was it.
Really? It was
the
just
whole
that
episode.
one...
I mean, well, memory serves that is the whole episode.
I'm pretty sure I've seen, like, a YouTube clip of that episode. And it was, like, a one scene because it was a YouTube.
The world of the future. YouTube clips. Hydraulic elevators. Automatic sprinkler systems. The future. In the year 2002. The far-off 21st century. That was what cars would sound like. That's what the Jetsons car sounds like. I think it's actually a little higher. It's like... It's something like that. It sounds like... It's something like that. It's not that deep.
Sure.
Or whistling.
Okay.
Anyway,
If I could make an animal, that's what it would sound like. Yeah. It's just a bird. Yeah.
You make a pigeon. Congratulations.
They have those, yeah.
Dear reader, I would recommend you look up a Victoria crowned pigeon. When Jessica and I go to the zoo, one of my favorite
Truly
parts
beautiful.
of the zoo is the World of Birds. In it, they have, I think, 2 maybe 3 Victoria crowned pigeons. You look them up.
Additionally, in Jungle World, they're there.
Are you sure?
We're talking about the blue boys, right?
Yep.
Yep.
We're in Jungle World.
Everywhere. They're with the tapirs. Trust. Trust?
Oh, we can come back to this. But the point is that the Victoria crown pigeon is... You look at pictures of them and you go, okay, yeah, it looks like a pigeon, and it has a cool mohawk of feathers. Like head feathers like a peacock.
They almost look like they're like sewn together, where they're like an
they're kind of overlapping.
Yeah,
it's almost like a lace work.
Yes,
yeah,
gorgeous.
like a doily. And so you look at a picture of one, and like just one standing by itself, and you're like, okay, it's a pigeon with a mohawk. But then if you like look up pictures of the babies, or pictures of them, a baby and an adult side by side, or pictures of these pigeons, they're the largest member of the pigeon family. They're the size of turkeys.
Yeah, they're big.
They're enormous. They have beady red pigeon eyes, and they look and move like pigeons. Except they're, I don't know, 25 pounds. They're enormous.
They're I wouldn't say that their eyes are beady. Like
No. You keep talking. I'm gonna pull up a picture of a Victoria.
The crane at the zoo also has bright red eyes, and I don't find them beady. I think they're huge and red, and I feel like these birds also have huge red eyes. They're not very beady to me. Pigeons' eyes are like little bloops, but these are like eyeballs. Yeah, those are not beady. Those are fucking eyeballs.
You look it up, dear reader. I disagree. So there's a picture.
Those are full-on eyes with a...
There's a picture, if you Google image Victoria crown pigeon, looks like the 4th picture is a side-by-side comparison of what they look like when they're babies and what they look like when they're adults. And they look dumb when they're babies, as most birds do. And then you look at that picture and you go, oh, okay, I guess, because the baby is being held in someone's hand. It's about the size of, looks like maybe the size of a grapefruit. And you say, okay, I guess, I know what size a pigeon is. I guess they don't get any bigger when they get adult size, or they don't get much bigger or whatever. Yeah, and then the next picture is a baby sitting next to an adult, and you go,
oh, wow.
Oh, that bird's head is the size of the baby. That is a turkey-sized bird. That bird is enormous. And it's true, they're huge.
They're not that. Like, if that baby is the size of a grapefruit, they're not that fucking big.
For a pigeon?
For a pigeon.
For a bird, even?
They're not, I don't think, as big as a turkey.
I've seen turkeys that are this size.
You know, when they reopen the goddamn zoo, I'll go and take another look.
There you go. That's the spirit.
Oh, God. I miss the zoo so much.
Yeah, so.
My God.
What was my point? What was I saying?
You just wanted to tell them about turkeys.
No, I talked about...
Queen Bee. Oh, you were talking about the Jetsons?
Yes, that's right. You'd make us. So anyway, Jessica's here in the year 2002 talking about her fancy. Go ahead. The floor is yours.
I don't remember what I was talking about.
Remember, I was making fun of you for saying all this. YouTube, you saw a clip of The Twilight Zone?
Oh, yeah, that was it. I saw a clip of The Twilight Zone on YouTube, and it seemed like it was all one scene, but I think that's because... Yeah.
Twilight Zone's a great show, dear reader. If you have never seen it, go watch it instead of this.
It's black and white, right?
Yes. There are, I think, 5 original seasons, and I think the 4th season, they're normally half-hour episodes, except the 4th season, I think, is hour-long episodes.
I want to say every single person has seen The Twilight Zone. Like, you're advertising to no one.
You'd be surprised. I mean, it came out, I think it was released in the 50s. I think it was like 58, 59.
I'm going to level with you. I have not seen it, and I refuse to see it because it's dated.
So then not everyone has seen it.
I know, but I'm saying, like, I wouldn't see it.
Oh, well, you should. It's a good show. And you, just because... Ron Sterling is the... he was the creator and writer of the show. Ron Sterling, not Sterling. And he was also the host, and he didn't look it because he's just by himself on a set when he's talking to you, you know, submitted for your consideration. And so he doesn't look like anything abnormal, but he's like 5'3". He's a teeny itty bitty man, and he'll take you into a dimension of sight and mind, and it's a fantastic show. I'd recommend it. Jessica doesn't like it, so you can be it can be the rubber match. You can be the decider.
I don't dislike it. I just have not seen it and refuse to.
But that's a little bit the same thing. On principle, you're refusing to consume something. You can't. What you can say is not positive.
Yeah. But I wouldn't
Jessica
say I don't like it.
Won't recommend it.
Yeah,
I will. Watch a couple episodes, and To Serve Man is a good episode. Let me look up some episodes. Yeah, it started in 1959, and then they made a remake in like the 80s or early 90s that it was in color, and I think a lot of them were just remakes of the old episodes, and they were not very good, and I think it was only for a season. And then they did another remake with Jordan Peele, I think a year ago. I didn't see any of those. I did not hear great things about them. I'm not avoiding them intentionally. I just didn't end up seeing it. But okay, let me see. Twilight Zone episodes. Last Stop Willoughby is a good one. I should pull up a list. I think I've seen all of them, at least all the original ones. I remember in the year 1999 going into 2000, my dad and I stayed up watching The Twilight Zone. I don't know why I was on for like 5 hours just waiting for midnight, and then we watched the ball drop on TV, and then I went to bed. That's what I remember of
Cute.
the year 2000.
You make it seem like your siblings were not there. Were they not there?
I don't remember. Well, they must have been somewhere. I don't remember them being there, though.
Just you and your
Greg,
dad alone.
I mean, Greg had just turned 3, so it's quite possible he was asleep.
Like in another room, yeah.
Or asleep. Or, you know, why would... So it's possible he was asleep, and Alex... I don't remember Alex liking The Twilight Zone very much, or liking a lot of the shows that I watched. So she watched A Stop at Willoughby, excuse me. Wow, the first season... What? How is this possible? The first season had 36 episodes? Good lord. A World His Own is a classic one. These are all season 1. I think I've seen all of these. I think there are like 200 episodes. Let's see. 156, yeah. And a number of them, 18 of them in season 4 are an hour long. So it's like there's 170 episodes. You talk.
I mean, are you done looking? Are you just trying to find good episodes to recommend?
Yeah, I mean, and either of those, I think there's a famous one called,
I'm trying to think of my good New Year's stories to tell, but the one that I can remember is when I went to my friend's party in high school, and I just like went to her house, and she was having a bunch of people over, and I'm pretty sure I'd like just gotten teeth pulled or something, So like I had like gauze in my mouth, and I was like newly recovering, and I was like, "Oh guys," and I wasn't doing very well. And I was like, "Why am I out?" And my mom was like, "You shouldn't go out." And I was like, "New Year's, you guys." So that's one of my little memories.
There's a Twilight Zone episode of William Shatner, called, I'll respond to that in a second, but I was just looking up, called Nightmare at 20,000 Feet. So there are a lot of good episodes. That one I'm not actually particularly fond of, but there's one called, what is it called? Hold on.
You could just do this in the description.
I could, but it's called The Hunt. So anyway, watch any of those, they're good. To your point, my first New Year's with you, when we'd only been dating for a couple months, you came up to Boston with some of your friends. This is a fun story.
No.
We hung out with some of your friends, and we were going to watch like the fireworks in Boston Common, but her friends, no one listened to me saying like, I think they're over there in Boston Common, obviously, like in the gardens or any, guys, the frog pond.
I would argue that he purposefully misled me.
So we had like 6 people with us, whatever the thing was. So we went at like 11:58, went to a 7-Eleven, way out of the way. One of Jessica's friends, who she came over to Boston with, got a 7-Eleven hot dog, ate half of it, and then immediately just put his arm up like against the 7-Eleven to lean up against it and just started vomiting on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
And then I heard the fireworks going off and I went, I guess it's midnight. And I looked up and we were so far from them we couldn't even see the fireworks.
Yeah, and I like went over to kiss Rob and he was like not looking in my general direction, and he was like looking way up at the sky looking for the fireworks. So I was
as like, one does when they hear fireworks.
No, I understand, but it was like, oh, the clock struck midnight, and like you were looking somewhere else, and I was just like, this is the worst. And I eventually I probably tugged on your sleeve or something, and then we did end up kissing, but it wasn't the same. Such
romance.
Yeah, it was while someone was actively vomiting in the background. Like it was
vomiting outside of a 7-Eleven like a homeless person.
It was like the least. And then so that happened.
I think he finished his hot dog. I don't know.
Yeah. And then later that night, like that also, like I didn't expect to come back to Rob's house. I expected to come and hang out with my friends the rest of the night, I'm pretty sure.
What a whore.
Yeah, so I was wearing, I don't know, like I was wearing a normal dress. It was probably like to my mid-thigh.
It was to mid-vagina.
No.
The dress, yes.
It was to mid-thigh.
You were wearing a big shirt.
It did ride up.
You were wearing a shirt.
I was also wearing knee-high leather black boots, which I think was probably more the problem. And we stumbled back to Rob's house. We didn't stumble.
Neither of us were drunk.
It was 3 a.m. We were stumbling. I remember I don't know. It was also freezing, and when I'm cold, I'm just
I'm gonna put it to you that it was not 3 a.m. It was 12:15 because immediately after midnight we thought, well, why are we still here?
No,
what a waste.
I remember it was late, and also we had to drive back, which takes
we had to drive 20 minutes.
Anyway, you guys, so then I remember it was bad. I looked like a whore.
Yeah, that's how the next morning she met my mother for the first time. I mean, whatever.
And she saw my boots, and they were also in the middle of the staircase. They were not even put away anywhere. I just took them off and left them. Yeah, but
so she thinks you're a messy, sloppy, inconsiderate whore, but refute any of those points.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to.
It's a good, first impressions matter. This one wasn't great, but it was accurate.
And the fact that your mom was so chill, she didn't mention, she was just like, wow, those are high boots. And I was like, yes. Yeah. That was the only thing that she said about that whole incident.
My mother is she has bigger fish to fry.
Yeah.
She doesn't give a shit.
So yeah, she was super chill about it. And then even even years later when we bring it up, she's like, oh, those are such high boots. That's it.
Yep.
So I think it was good that your mom got to see me in my entirety immediately.
Yeah, so that was that.
That was a good New Year's story.
I think a couple years before that. Welcome to the Greg Corner, dear readers. Greg and I went to the same. We actually saw the fireworks and saw the ice sculptures. Actually went to the celebration, and he and I were standing in line to get fried dough, or we had just purchased fried dough, I think. And some man with a Midwestern accent came up to us, and I don't know if you're thinking if you're coming from Iowa to watch a New Year's celebration, you'd go to New York. Like, you wouldn't come further east to Boston.
You're like, why stop at Boston?
Yeah, why go to Boston? Go to New York. Go to New York or stay home. Yeah. Stay in Missouri or stay wherever you're at. Don't come to Boston. So anyway, but whatever his deal was, he came up to us and he went, what is that? Is that fried dough? And
no.
And Greg and I both went, yeah. And he went, well, is it any good? And I went, yeah, it's pretty good. It's like a funnel cake. He went, oh, okay. And then he went and got into line. And he was like 55. I don't know how you don't know what fried dough
Isn't fried dough like from that area too? Like from the Midwest?
Mean, if you tell me any fried food is from the Midwest, I believe it.
Right.
They're kind of big on butter and
right.
Something I do, a point of contention I do have. I don't even know if we have time enough to go into this.
You should. I want to edit some of the stuff out so you can go a little further.
No, I'll bring it up later because we're at 50 minutes and I could probably go for about 20 on this. So this is
on your fried food exception.
No, on my Midwestern thing. It's
okay. That's a good
can
rant.
Of worms.
You can just hold
we'll
on.
Tease it for next episode, dear readers. I mean that's it. But we've wasted too much of their time already.
Yeah.
See you later, pod racers.